Hi everyone. Just want to give my thoughts on the recent PTR for 2.5.0 for season 11. So first, basically they have changed the AI of the monsters, that they are now much more smarter, and there are some instances that they can dodge your attack. So they are much more powerful, smarter, and I think not powerful, but because of the new defensive mechanic, which I'm going to discuss later. With regards to the leveling experience, so I tried to, because of my limited gameplay, was able to play level 1 to 30 and completed the first level 30 dungeon. The leveling experience was fun. You start with 1 skill points, and as you kill the enemy, as you progress, you get stronger and stronger. With regards to the Necromancer, my experience was I was kind of struggling with from level 1 to 15 until I got my skeletal mages. So that's the point that I'm now starting to get my DPS more better until I got the golem at level 25. Then I think I started to unlock the capstone dungeon level 30 at level 28. And I think along the way, it's not just a single dungeon that you're gonna clear the boss right away. There will be like, I think, a 3 tiers of dungeon that you're going to complete before you fight the capstone boss. Then I think during that time, during that entire capstone dungeon, I was able to level up, I believe, 3 levels. So it was a fun experience. And then for season 11, then we have this sanctification mechanic, wherein we're gonna slam an item. So we need to be careful that we need to make sure that this item is already masterwork. This is already socketed. It has the right aspect. It has the right masterwork. It has the right gem, runes, before you sanctify the item. Because once you sanctify the item, like this one, it says sanctified below the item power text. It says that basically it's no longer cannot be modified anymore. So the sanctification is not always a guarantee that it will give a better affix. It's a risk if you find that you want to gamble for a better improvement of the gear. So it may give, like I think what I have a while ago was these gloves. I would love to get affixes, better affixes, or I think you can also get a legendary aspect. So next that I'm going to discuss is the new okay, before I discuss with the tempering and the masterworking. So for the Necromancer, so we have now a new weapon called the Grave Blue. So this one I was having fun playing the triple golem, and the damage is good. And yeah, I was having fun playing with this. Survivability wise, we're okay. So I'm excited to. I have already created a pre-season 11 planner for this build, and hopefully I can. So of course we're gonna wait for the final patch notes on before the season launch to see what will be the further improvement of the items and the mechanics of the game. Next is I'm going to discuss the toughness. So now we have what we call a ratings. So before we can cap, as long as we cap the resistances and the armor, then we're good to go. On season 11, you can further increase your rating or your resistances, but it will come to a point that you will have this what they call a diminishing return. So technically it's just as simple as once you reach, I believe, like this one, like I believe like around 3,000 and above, or from what I have seen, like 2,800, that's already like a peak. Like there will be like a slight change on the increase of the physical resistance. The more that you keep on increasing the resistance, the lesser that the additional value of the reduction, the damage reduction on those elemental resistances, including the physical. And then now the armor was changed from physical damage reduction to incoming damage reduction. So the resistances will be the resistance for all different types of elemental, and then armor is for incoming damage reduction. From what I have experienced, the Pit 60, if your toughness rating is 60,000, there is a high chance that the elites and especially the pit boss is going to kill you instantly. So the still the maximum life, the additional life is still the one that gives a high toughness rating. It makes sense because bigger life, bigger amount that you can sustain the damage along with your damage reduction coming from your resistances and your armor. I was trying to play the Shadow Blight build. Now that we have affixes, new affixes, I think they are a returning affixes, which is the life on hit. I think it still exists, the life per second. So now those affixes that regards to like regaining life is now very important because this will help on your survivability, especially to proc this item, the temerity unique pants that was not really being used because you can still gain the barrier from like your cure rune or your other sources of barrier. Now from what I have seen, if you notice here, I'm basically if I go out on a battlefield, you can gain the barrier as long as if you have, even though you're not killing the enemy, as long as you're over healing. And this can be done by the life per second healing. So once it over heals you, even though you're not attacking, it will trigger the temerity barrier effect. So which is now we are now focusing on our defenses, not just on our offense, which is a good change because right now we're just so focused on DPS and then we don't care much about our defenses and we just cap the resistances, the armor, and then we're done. We're just increasing the life. Now I think it gives us a more opportunity to watch out also on our defenses, not just offense only. And I believe maybe they have some plans why they do it this way. Like I can give maybe a speculation on what could happen on the next and future season. Like for example, with regards to the Necromancer, there will be a possibility that a new aspect or a new unique item that will require you to increase your fire resistance up to 5,000. Let's say the minimum is to 2,500. Okay, you need to have 2,500 fire resistance. If you have reached this fire resistance, your golem will now turn into a fire golem that emits a fire nova. And the more you are overcapping your resistances, let's say for every 50 fire resistance that you overcap, you get a 1% multiplier damage. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's also another thing. Or maybe for shadow build, if you increase further your shadow resistance, the more shadow resistance, then you are getting this so-called multiplier damage on your shadow. Or maybe you're getting this an additional, or maybe for the overpowering. So the more that you increase your armor or your physical resistance, the more that your damage will scaling with the overpower. Maybe that could also be the thing, right? Now there are some mythic unique items. I believe especially the Harlequin Crest is now making a viable mythic item now, not just the Air of Perdition. Because right now, also with regards to the mythic items, Air of Perdition is always a go-to mythic item. Like I don't care with other item. Once you have the Air of Perdition, you're good to go because it deals a lot of. It provides a good amount of critical strike chance, core ranks, and especially the 60% damage multiplier. So right now, if you are struggling with defenses, then you can also use the Harlequin Crest, which provides health, damage reduction, and some ranks. So it has armor, maximum resource, of course armor, and then cooldown reduction. So it's sorry. And then there's a 20% damage reduction. So by equipping this, then you have an additional layer of damage reduction. So I haven't pushed further beyond I think pit 80. So I don't know how tough the monsters going as you go higher on the pit, and I haven't got a chance to play the tower for the leaderboard. So I think you'll be dealing with, again, you need to incorporate more defensive layers in order to sustain the damage of the enemies. The final thing that I'm going to discuss is and to give my thoughts and my opinion is the masterworking and the tempering. So technically, the masterworking right now, you can masterwork the item up to a quality of 20. So now they're saying that you're just increasing the quality. So we are increasing only the armor on the gears, weapon damage, and then resistances on the jewelry. And then on top of that, when you reach the quality of 20, one of the affixes can be a greater affix, which means that it will have a maximum value plus 50% of that maximum value amount. Basically, in my opinion, that is a not a step forward but a more step backwards. It's because right now the masterwork, increasing your affixes as you reach maximum rank 12, it could increase without the master crit. An affix could increase, including the temper affix, including the greater affix, up to 45% in increase. And if that affix could be masterwork, we're talking about an additional 75% if that item got master crit 3 times. With regards to masterworking, the quality will increase the weapons quality, so that is also a good, but we lose that 45, approximately 45 up to plus 100 plus 45 plus 80% if the item was masterwork. So we lost that huge amount of increase on our stats. Next is tempering. An item can only have one temper affix right now. However, the tempering, you can choose any affixes that you want, but you cannot, it's still the same. You cannot switch with a different category. Once you temper utility, it's only utility. If you temper offensive, then you cannot go with defensive or resource anymore. So that's the only I think it's still the same at this moment. So now you can choose any temper affixes that you need, but you can only add one. So with regards to tempering, again, this is also an improvement, but it is a step backwards in a sense that even though we have the 4th affix on our item, there are some temper affix, right? If you agree with me, there are some temper affix that is not available on the affix on the item. Cannot have, say, macabre resource, bone spirit cooldown, blood attack speed. I'm talking about in the necromancer perspective here. Like for example, if I want ultimate cooldown, right? Because we need to bring down the cooldown of, for example, the soul rift so that we can cast it more frequently. Then the exchange of the utility to make the soul rift to be casted all the time is we can no longer add a additional offensive affix like critical strike damage or overpower damage or corruption damage. So it's like, yeah, we can guarantee the temper affix, but we miss one affix, and I feel like it's still a nerf in my opinion. So we basically we lost some of the important not defensive, a more, you can also say defensive. Like for example, on your gear, I want say corpse tendril size, I want an armor, right? So you can only add either armor, or do you want soul rift cooldown, then you're gonna risk an armor. But you can add armor here, you can add all armor on your items, because now you can because we're talking about ratings now. And right now what I'm using here is the disobedience. Like this one is already providing a good amount of armor, which I haven't used for a very long time. For I think this disobedience was a viable aspect on most of the builds. I think up to season 3 or season 2. I think for me, the what I could suggest here is that on the tempering affix, why not we make the tempering affixes to be a drop affix? Okay, let's bring back the tempering affix. Let's bring back the master working the way it used. That is supposed to be. What is the master working status right now? What the player wants right now is they wanted, including me, what we want is the master working. When we reset the master work, let's just say on rank 4 we master crit the right affix. When we go to rank 5 to 8, let's just say it didn't hit the right affix, so when we reset, it should reset to the next rank, which is number 4. So if you master work up to rank 8 and you double crit the affix, now you move now to rank 9 to 12. Say at master work rank 12, you didn't hit the affix, then when you reset it, it will only go back to rank 8, not going back to rank 0. I think that is a good step on improving the master working process. With regards to the tempering, let's bring back the 2 tempering affixes. I think it's still good to have the tempering affixes on the item. And instead of it's still better that the tempering affix that still have 5 chances plus 1 per greater affix, but the item can still break once you lose all the chances. But you can use 1 scroll of restoration to restore again the chances. However, why not we make the tempering recipe to be a drop recipe, to become a drop item? Meaning when we now try to temper an affix, we are using materials to temper an affix. So that way it is still, you need to farm, you need to grind, and then when you get those the drop items, I would say the crafting material, the temper crafting, maybe we can call it like temper crafting materials, so that we can guarantee the affix that we need. We can add the tempering affix that we need, but we need to spend materials, spend gold in order to add the affix. It's still a guarantee, but we need to farm the materials. I think that's also a good step. Like you are trying to play, getting those tempering crafting materials, and then you add those tempering affix on the item. It will still break. I think that's still a good. It's still okay for the item to break, because of course, so that the process cannot be abused by the players. So once you get that item, at least you are getting this opportunity to apply the affix that you need, instead of rolling the affix and then you don't know what you're going to get, and sometimes you're gonna lose all of your chances, but you didn't get the affix that you need. I think that's it for me. That's all my thoughts and feedback for the season 11 PTR, but we're gonna wait what's going to happen on the final patch notes on the season 11. I hope they make some improvements, especially on the master working and the tempering. I hope they reconsider on retaining the state of the master working process, and bring the tempering affix to be 2 affix on the items again. So yeah, and still I'm excited to play with the triple golem on season 11. So again, if you like this video, please a like and subscribe would be appreciated to support the channel, and click that notification bell so that you'll be updated on my next video. And again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Have a good one. Bye.